Many who want to make the argument for the existence of God base their argument on the beginning of the universe. We may say, for example, because there was a beginning of the universe, there must have been a beginner. Or because the universe was created, there must have been a creator. That's when the response usually comes in: if God created the universe, who created God? It is completely understandable why someone might ask this question, but it unfortunately misunderstands the argument for God. This question seems to imply that the argument is everything that exists must have a cause. However, the argument for God is somewhat different. Anything which has a beginning must have a cause. Christians believe that the universe had a beginning and therefore had a beginner, who we identify as God. Christians do not believe God had a beginning, so there is no need for God himself to have had a beginner. The Bible teaches that God is eternal, that he had no beginning and will have no end. This idea may appear foreign at first glance, but almost everyone believes something is eternal, even if that thing is not God to them. We often hear people say they just aren't sure what existed before our universe, but something must have existed eternally. Or when you ask a person, where did the matter come from the Big Bang, they often don't have a good explanation of where that matter came from. Ultimately, everyone points to something eternal that is the cause of all other things. Philosophers have long pointed out, however, that there cannot be an infinite number of events going back into the past, sometimes referred to as a problem of infinite regression. Think of it this way. Imagine we have a line of dominoes which can represent all the events of the past leading up to today, symbolized by the final domino. Like any line of dominoes, once one is pushed, the others will all fall down in sequence, much like the way each event of the past inevitably leads to the next. Once the first domino is pushed over, the entire line will eventually fall. Imagine we were to set the line of dominoes carefully, but right as we were about to push the first domino, we decided to instead add one more domino to the front of the line. Once again, as we were about to push the first domino, we stopped to add yet another domino to the front of the line. Now imagine we continue to add dominoes to the front of the line indefinitely. If we never stopped adding dominoes to the beginning, the last domino would never fall because the entire sequence would never have begun. In a similar way, if there were to be an infinite number of events in the past, the events leading up to today would never occur, and we would never get to today. Since we obviously exist in the present, there must have been a finite, limited number of events in the past. Simply put, the only logical belief to hold is to believe that something must have always existed. But a universe defined by space and time and matter cannot be that something that has always existed. The philosophy of infinite regression demonstrates that time and our universe had a beginning. That's why Christians have good reason to believe there's an eternal, uncaused cause of the universe, a being the Bible calls God. Be sure to comment below with any questions or comments you have and subscribe to my channel so you don't miss future episodes.